There is a growing problem in the United States, homelessness. For most of us, the basic necessities to live are taken for granted. Food, water, shelter, clothes. What do you see when you think of the homeless? Do you see images of dirt, trash, or perhaps drugs and alcohol? Do you ever think about the reason why these people ended up in despair? Or do you believe what mainstream media shows and tells you? According to the National Alliance to End Homelessness, it was estimated in 2020 that the homeless population reached approximately 580,000. To put that in perspective, the city of Tucson, Arizona has a population of approximately 554,000. My name is Regan Benson. I'm a mother, a grandmother, a wife, a homeless advocate. I've spent a lifetime fighting for the homeless and their right to survive with dignity. Join me as we begin to understand some of the reasons behind the despair. Hopefully you will see that these people have feelings. They are people. They have names. They are the forgotten. This is where Sarah currently resides on the streets of Denver, between a tent and this camper. Hi, Sarah.
Hi,
Tell us how old you are.
I'm 43 years old.
How did you become homeless?
I had a stroke. I lost 3 paychecks and had to go to a safe house.
Do you currently have any family?
I do. I have 3 children and 2 siblings and both parents.
Tell us what homelessness is like as a woman.
I would say it's a little harder for women than it is men out here, because they assume, or the public assumes, either that we need something so bad that we will sell ourselves, or the men out here expect us to work harder than they do.
How have your experiences out here affected your mental health?
I would say that it's hard on anyone's mental health being in a situation they don't really want to be in. I think that moving all the time or looking over your shoulder all the time makes you have an anxiety disorder. I think it makes you have fears. I think that it's hard. I don't know. It's hard on anyone being in a situation they don't necessarily feel they have control over, even though most people are out here because they want to be free.
Do you have a substance abuse history that you care to share with us?
I would say that if you didn't before you were homeless, most end up with a substance abuse issue because it is hard on your mental health. A lot of people just kind of want to run away from their feelings or how people even more so oppress you. You think you're going to be free, but you're really not. And I don't consider myself really homeless. I consider myself living off the grid. I would always say that, that I just choose to live differently than most of society because either society failed me or I feel like I failed society.
Have you attempted or completed any rehab programs for substance abuse issues?
Yes, I have, and I've also done therapy for years for not necessarily substance, but my self-abuse issues. Most of us out here have a vice, whether it be good or bad. We find something that keeps us going. You have to have something, I guess. Even when you feel society's given up on you or you've given up on yourself, to keep going every day, you have to find something.
Sarah, do you have a criminal record, and if so, for what crimes?
I would say I don't have a criminal record. Yes, I have been in trouble. I have tickets. I have an underage drinking ticket. I have saying fucked in public in Boulder. And I have a trespassing charge on the railroad tracks when I never even saw a sign for collecting rocks. And I'm 43 years old. Most people out here have a criminal record for trespassing in some sort because someone doesn't want you on their property or want you by their property or wants to say that you're impeding on their way of living.
So, do you feel you've been treated fairly by law enforcement as you're living homeless?
I would say yes and no. Depends on the law enforcement. Some are understanding. Some are shocked, especially seeing a girl. Some, I think it's more that they don't know how to take you or they don't know what to say or how to be. And then there are those that are just controlling, just like in any empowering job, I guess. Some do it for the right reasons, some do it for the wrong.
Who are the people in your life that you trust?
Out here, you can trust yourself. Even friends, I don't know. It's hard living, so it's hard for people to trust other people when you feel like you're the untrusted no matter who's looking at you.
Do you feel you've been treated fairly by society?
No. And even those that would say that why should you or why do you think you're any different or any better than anybody else? I just think we all need to treat each other with a little more empathy. And if we could all stop and listen a little bit. Everybody has a story, everybody has a reason for what they do. Sometimes it's not what we think. Sometimes it's just that we're running from our own pain or ourselves and what we feel like society says we've inflicted upon them. Most of us aren't out here to hurt anybody. Most of us are out here just trying to be okay with ourselves. And I would say that we're not church. And we shouldn't be treated as though because we live in the gutters or however they want to say it. Most of us, yes, are running from something, and it's usually what we impose upon ourselves because of what others think.
Do you want to be off the streets?
Yes. None of us wants to worry every single day in survival mode or fight or flight. Some of us would just like a little bit of peace.
What are the barriers that you've experienced to make that happen?
The barriers, every day is a barrier. Something is thrown in front of you every day. It's unexpected. And most of us get so stuck on the survival or the fight or flight that we don't see anything else. And it's really hard to get out of that situation when you're there every day experiencing someone telling you to move, someone telling you that you don't belong or that you aren't worthy of just living, just doing the day-to-day things to live.
Do you plan on being successful to get yourself off the street?
I would say everybody plans on being successful, and nobody ever expects to be on the street. No one ever expects that someone will listen to them, hear them, or see them as a person. We're not raised that way, but yet we are.
Do you think there is a homeless problem throughout the United States?
I don't think we're a problem. I think that it's to some a way of living, to some just running, to some just not being 1% of society that doesn't believe in society standards. Who said we weren't free? Who said we get to judge, take your own inventory before taking others? I don't want to judge someone else, therefore I don't feel like anyone should judge me. I'm not trying to hurt anyone. I'm not trying to do wrong. I'm doing what's good for me. What I feel I need to do to live with myself. And being on the streets, I found myself. No matter where you go in any aspect in this world, you follows you everywhere. I didn't even get that for a long time because I was so worried about what society wanted. I lost myself along all of it. But in the 3 years I've been out here on the streets, depending on only me, I found myself. And I'm comfortable with that.
What is the solution to homelessness?
I don't think there's a solution. I just think we need to have more empathy, more compassion. And somewhere along the lines, communication is broke down, not just with the homeless, with everybody. And if we all just stopped and listened, and we don't have to agree or accept or whatever, but it makes us more intelligent people the more opinions we allow and the more people we allow in our lives. That's the truth in anything, I believe.
What do you want to say?
I just want to...
What do you want to say to people who don't know anything about living homeless?
I would say it's harder than you think to hold a sign, or to be dirty, or to be kicked out of places, or just to be judged just by the assumption or the look that you're homeless, or that we don't want to work. Most of us work harder every day just trying to survive than most people would do at a job. And it's almost impossible to get a job when you're trying to just make sure your stuff's okay and you're okay. Because you lose more than your dignity or yourself in being homeless. You lose everything over and over and over, and every day is a fight. Whether it be people putting themselves in your way or people's opinions putting themselves in the way, because everybody has something to say, but they don't want to hear what you have to say.
If you could change something in your life, what would that be?
I would have had more patience. I maybe would have listened a little better to other people's opinions instead of being so, I just want to do it my way. Because maybe if I would have had more time for people and not stuck myself into work so much, or worked on my relationships more, and I would have paid more attention to not taking things for granted. You don't realize what you had till it's all gone. And that's in anything. Most people don't look at what it was until it's gone. And I never thought any of it would be gone. I thought that as long as I worked and was a good mom and spent time doing all that, the rest would fall into play. But I lost friendships and whatever because I spent too much time in being a mom and working. making sure that they had a roof over their head. I learned I lived for everyone else and not for myself in being homeless. And being homeless, you have to live for yourself. Because if you don't, you can't help others, or you can't survive, or there's not going to be the next day, or the next meal, or the next. It becomes, you learn how to pick yourself up no matter what out here. Because just the next day, the sun's going to come up, or it's going to be cold, or you're going to be hungry, or you're going to be whatever. There's no easy part of being homeless. And it's not because we don't work that we're homeless. It's because we get in survival, just surviving. We don't have time for anything else. We don't care what we look like or who sees us or any of that. Some of us do hold a sign, or beg for spare change, or even sit there just hoping someone will say, do you need something? Because you don't have a voice when people look at you a certain way, but let alone do you want to ask, but you have to sometimes. Sometimes the only way up is by asking someone for help.
Have you done that, Sarah?
I have. And most of the time, most people just shake their head thinking you're joking, or that you really don't, or you're trying to use them, or that there's some other avenue that you're getting at. But no, sometimes it's just someone else to understand, or an ear.
What is your advice to those that are newly homeless?
To be honest, I would go to a mom who has children at a bus stop and ask them if they know of any resources, because the best advice I've ever gotten was from another woman with children. They don't try to steer you in the wrong direction, or try to make a pun or insinuate something else. They're not trying to get something from you. They're just trying to survive with their children, just like you are. And they usually know about some sort of resource or a church that you can ask, or even I'll call another family member a cell phone that they can just ask someone else. Most of the time, because they're not just thinking about themselves, they're thinking about others. And they know they have to take care of themselves. They know what they have to do to survive every day. So, or where to look, or who to ask. Because, I don't know, they're usually more real than most people.
What do you want to tell people that are watching this?
I'm not doing this because I think that I have a better opinion, or I know any better than anyone else. I just want my voice to be heard in the fact that, yes, I have been homeless. Yes, I am out on the streets as anyone else. Yes, I've had to ask for help. And yes, I've been in situations of not exactly wanting to be in, or asked to be in, or any of that. It's just, we all have something we're not proud of, or something we've achieved or lost. I just think that more people should understand how hard of a struggle it is to pick yourself up out of a situation that you're constantly moving or running or looking over your shoulder. It's not a victim stance. It's not a homeless stance. It's not, I don't want to be part of society, or I don't believe in rules. I just want to be free just like everybody else. And I just want to have the options that everyone else has, or at least the chance to have, even if I want to be stubborn, whatever. There should be, I think that everybody says there's all these things to help people out here, but really, truly, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of resources when you have to constantly look for them or seek them out, because we're moving nonstop. So it's hard for them to seek us out. And that most of us aren't doing wrong out here. We just want to be free. We don't want someone telling us what to do, or how to be, or who to be. We want to find it out for ourselves. Some of us just want to know who we are.
You want to tell us about your arm?
I shattered my elbow. I tie my shoes together or buckle them together because I lived in a tent and I don't want to lose them. So I put them together, and I was so angry and upset with my neighbor for not her opinion, but her trying to enforce her opinion on me and putting her stuff in my space on the road, on a public road, that I, instead of fighting or arguing or pushing or any of that, I just put on my shoes, marched like a chicken down the street, and tripped a block later before realizing my shoes were tied together. And yes, nobody believed my story when I went to the emergency room 2 days later because I thought I was being a baby and that nothing was wrong, that I just bruised it. Because I had a stroke and they weren't willing to physical therapy. They said I'd never walk again. I felt nobody believed in me the way I believed in myself, and I couldn't get that across. It was a break of communication.
How long ago was the stroke?
10 years ago, but I've been in a treatment facility, a couple other facilities. I did everything my family wanted me to do, I believe, and they still put me on the street pretty much. Everybody still put me on the street because I didn't understand why I was on probation or on lockdown when all I wanted to do was be like everybody else, have freedoms to wake up when I wanted, go to bed when I wanted, to eat when I wanted, to watch what I wanted. Everybody else had an opinion. Nobody ever just really sat and tried to listen to what I was trying to get across.
You want to talk about how the stroke happened?
I was strangled into it by the man that I was married to because I told him I didn't love him and I didn't want to be in the situation I was anymore.
You're lucky to be alive.
I am. But I changed my whole life because I didn't want to be bitter anymore or angry anymore because things didn't work out the way I expected or thought they should. I just wanted to be happy, or at least the chance to be happy. I didn't want to be a kept person. I didn't want to be held back by what other people said or thought. So I pretty much had the police escort me to a door of my family's house, put me on a bus because I couldn't walk, and I rode up the mountain. And I didn't look back for 5 years until I realized I had shut myself off from society and it wasn't helping me to not allow my voice to be heard or me be around people. And I thought that I was a failure because no one understood that I just wanted to make my own choices and that I was too young to be in a nursing home or in a care facility or to be kept in another way. I just felt that I should figure out first who I was and realize how strong of a person I was and that I was no lesser or no unequal to anyone else. And it felt like no matter which way I looked at it, I was being treated that way because with my handicaps in the wheelchair, everyone wanted to help and do everything for me, not listen either. And then when I was able to walk and do all that, then I was held back by, well, you're homeless and you don't want to follow anyone's rules. And that you obviously have a drug and alcohol problem and you obviously don't want to succeed.
Not the truth.
No, not at all. Everyone wants to be looked at as a success in some sort, but even if you don't make it to that success, just accept it. Everyone deserves to be accepted. No matter what, we should take our own judgment before judging someone else. I don't want to be a judge or jury or a God or any of that. Therefore, I try to not judge others. But when somebody looks at you with that look like you're a piece of trash and that you don't have a voice or an opinion. Most of us out here are very educated people. Most of us are very intelligent, and most of us are very capable of succeeding at many, 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 oh my God, many things. And most of us have bigger hearts. Oh my God, it's amazing. The community we have out here is great. So that's what makes it really hard when you're trying to succeed or do what society says we're supposed to do, is the fact that we found a community out here, and some of them are like amazing, and it's hard to see people you love still on the street when you're not, and then you tell yourself, why do I deserve that, when there's veterans, people way older than me that have lived, oh my God, amazing lives and have stories to tell, have so much to offer others, out here still on the street because, for one, that's all they own and they don't want it to be looked at as trash. For two, they've been looked at as trash for so long that nobody listens. For three, some of them have allowed other people's thinking to make them feel like they're trash and they don't deserve any better. So I would just say, have a little compassion. Maybe you should ask the person's story before you judge. Or what can I do to help you learn something different? Or can I learn something from you? That's what I would say. My name is Sarah, and I have been forgotten.